In this Nitty-Gritty Basics Let's Play live stream, we're going to be playing American Mah Jongg at I Love Mahj. We're going to be using the 2024 card. If you are new to playing at I Love Mahj, you can try it out with an extra week free if you use my code, which is MAHJLIFE. So I encourage you to give it a try. They have an excellent exercise room that we're going to be using today, so you'll get an idea of what it's like to play there. Also, I want to say thank you so much to our moderators who will be helping monitor the chat today. The format is nitty-gritty, which means we're not going to do any socialization. If you like to hang out and socialize and also play Mahjong, join us on Friday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Mondays are all about the nitty-gritty. And today's topic is on skill builders. So I'm going to share the skill builders I recommend to all my students when I teach the game. And we'll also do some demonstrations at Mahjong Time, or not Mahjong Time, I Love Mahj, because they have that great exercise room. So I'll show you how you can use that platform with all of these skill builders. Also, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you for being here during these live streams. I appreciate you so much. We actually have a new channel member, Sandra. Welcome. I appreciate your support. And to all those who support MAHJLIFE, thank you so much. All right, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started on this presentation, and we're going to alternate between the presentation and I Love Mahj so I can show you how to use it to build your skills. Let's see, we'll use this one here. All right, so skill builders, welcome to the live stream. Let's get started. The first thing that I want to share is about the development of learning something new. It's always going to be hard until it's not. So you're going to go through a process. You're going to start out with unconscious incompetence. No shame. That's just the way it is. That's a rule of life. Then as you practice, you're going to move to conscious incompetence. So it will get better. And then it will continue to conscious competence, and then unconscious competence. That's when it'll be like playing Mahjong, like it's all on the back of your hand. Isn't that how it goes? The back of your hand. It's going to feel natural. So the key here is repetition, and that's where skill builders come in. Between games, you can practice online, or you could even get your tiles out and practice with your tiles at home. These skill builders, if you do them consistently, you will see an improvement in your playing. I guarantee it. The first exercise I call category modeling. The purpose is to gain a comprehensive understanding of all the hands on the card. And this will help you navigate the card, and especially be helpful if you ever need to switch from one hand to another. Let's see here. Hi, Evelyn, welcome. So when you look at the card, this is the mock card, which I use in lessons. It's timeless, but it's very similar to the National Mah Jongg League card. It uses the same concepts: colors, letters, numbers. We also have X and C for exposed and concealed. We have hand values. So the combinations on this card are very similar to the American Mah Jongg card using National Mah Jongg League rules. So the idea would be to get your card out and your tiles at home, if you're going to do it hands-on, and you would create each hand on the card. And you would create each hand, including what is in the parentheses, because that's where they provide flexibility and limitation for each hand. So you can see here on the first hand on the mock American Mah Jongg card, we need 2 flowers, a block of year tiles, and then Kongs of the other 2 dragons. And inside the parentheses, it says any one suit with any 2 dragons. So just because we have 3 colors for that hand, since it says any 2 dragons, you can use white dragons as one of your Kongs as long as you have a joker. So always look in the parentheses to see the different variations that you'll have for any given hand. Here's another example. We have 1 3 3 5. Now this is a different shape. So we have pung kong with either little odds or pung kong with big odds, but you can use 2 suits. So it's basically the same hand using different numbers and different suits. And you can do it that way because of the variations provided on the card. So let's see here. Let me stop sharing, and then we're going to jump over to I Love Mahj. Let's see here. Bear with me for just a second. I just have to fix something really quick. Bear with me for just a second, please. Otherwise, you're going to be confused when we get back to the presentation. So I just had to fix something really quick. All right, we're good now. Okay, so I'm going to save, and now I'm going to share my screen so that we can do a little bit of category modeling at I Love Mahj so I can show you how to do it. Let me go ahead and get it up there. Well, I do have it up there. I just don't know. Oh, there it is. All right. Okay. Thank you, Evelyn. I appreciate it. Okay. So I'm going to go full screen here so you can see what we're doing. All right. So here's I Love Mahj. I Love Mahj, MAHJ.com. And after you log in, you're going to go to play. And this is where the exercise room is. They also have where you can play with bots, but we're going to focus down here. There's all kinds of activities that you can, well, not all kinds. There's five activities that you can do to practice your skills. One of them is a game called MAHJLIFE. It's kind of like Wordle where you have to guess the hand. We're not going to do that today. You can also do what hand is that, where they give you exposures and you have to figure out which hand it is. There's Charleston practice, which is what I call Charleston modeling, and we'll get to that in a little bit. And then we have heavenly hands, where you're dealt a heavenly hand, but you have to put the tiles in the right order. So we're not going to do those ones. I encourage you to log in and check them out though on your own. What we're going to do right now is click make a hand. This make a hand, this is what I call category modeling. You can do it in sequential order or you can do it in random order. And when you first get your new card, or if you're brand new to the game, I recommend sequential order, but you can do either one. So I would click start exercise, and it's going to put you at a table where you have access to all the tiles. And there's a little square with a number to the left of each one to show you how many remain. Then underneath the tile selection, you have the hand that you need to build. So you could even do this without a card. If you're maybe traveling or you're waiting in line somewhere at the doctor's office or something like that, you can practice this even without your card. So here we have the year category, line number 1, and we need to have pung pung kong kong, 2 suits with a white dragon. So 2 in 1 suit with a white dragon, pung pung, and then 2 and 4 in a second suit with Kong Kong. So all you need to do is select the tiles to create it. So let's just say we do 2 BAMs, then we'll do 3 white dragons, and then we'll do, let's say, the dots. So 2, and you just click it however many times you need to get those tiles down on your rack. This is like a virtual rack. And then you click the other tiles. And here you have that hand that's shown above your tiles in your rack, and you click validate to confirm that you did it right. So I'm going to validate, and you can see, congratulations, you did it right. Let's move to the next hand, and we're going to make an error on purpose so you can see what happens if you make an error. So we're going to do, let's say, 4 flowers, and then we need a Kong of 2s. So let's grab 2 cracks, and then we'll use white dragons, and then let's use a joker. You know, you can't use a joker with a single tile, but we're going to do it anyway so that you can see what happens if you do something wrong. So we're going to do a joker with a 4 dot. That should be a 2 dot, but let's see what happens when we validate. Invalid hand. And they tell you why it could be invalid, 3 different reasons. So you can figure out what you got incorrect on there. And you could even try again or show the solution. So they fix it for you. They threw in a let's see, a 2-4 and bams. So let's do the next hand. And here we need a pair of flowers, a year block, and then 2s. But let's say we think that we can use 4s in there, 2s and 4s, for example. So let's do a pair of flowers. Then we'll do 2, 0, 2, 4 for the year. And then let's do, let's say, 2 cracks with 4 dots, since there's, oh no, not 4 dots. Let's do 4 bams. Since we have to have 3 suits, in parentheses it says like Kongs, but maybe we don't understand what like Kongs means. We just think, oh, it has 2s and 4s in that parentheses, so we can use either 2s or 4s. Well, let's see what happens. That's incorrect. You've got to have the same number for the Kongs. If you click show solution, it will correct it for you based on what they have programmed. So that is how you would do category modeling at I Love Mahj. You just go category by category, hand by hand, and you look at the text in the parentheses to recreate what you envision for that particular combination to test your knowledge on the card. Just remember that the text in the parentheses gives you either flexibility or limitation, and that's why it's important. All right, so now we're going to continue with the presentation and go to the next skill builder. Let's see here, we're going to jump to here. Okay, the next one is random pulls. I'll just stay up here since we're going to toggle back and forth. The purpose of random pulls is to practice identifying the strength of a dealt hand. When you first get that dealt hand, sometimes you'll look there and you'll think, oh, what am I going to play here? Well, if you practice identifying the strength of the hand, it becomes easy. And American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples. So if you target multiples, that even simplifies it even more. Sometimes you may not have multiples. That is when you would want to target the predominant pattern until a multiple forms. And that is the ideal way to play American Mah Jongg. When you first get the dealt hand, you're going to get 13 or 14 random tiles. If you're doing this at home with your own tiles, you can make the choice of how many tiles you gather, and then you're going to arrange them. And I recommend that you arrange them in suit and in numerical order, and then put your flowers, winds, dragons to one side of your rack so that you can get the lay of the land and just identify the multiples if you have them, like we do here, or the predominant pattern. So here we have a hand, a joker, flower, 5 bam 8, 2 7 9 in cracks, 1 dot pair, 3 4 7 8 in dots. So if this were my hand, I would target the 1 dot and I would hold 1 2 3 4, and that's what I would focus on. Now some people might play odds here, and that would not be wrong. It would just be different. So they would hold 1 3 dot, 5 bam 7 9. They might be able to play the first hand, for example. So there's no right or wrong. There is good, better, best. And I think either one of those options would work with these tiles. The idea is to identify the strength, make a choice, and then identify tiles to pass. That would allow you to leverage the strength of the hand. So in this case, we have ones. We could play either odds or 1, 2, 3, 4. Odds probably would be better, even though it's only one hand that we could play here. Maybe we could play that fourth hand down though, if we get a 5 dot, but that's a pair gap, which is risky. So the idea would be to choose a category that uses most of your tiles. In this example, I'm choosing consecutive run as opposed to odds, probably because of the consecutive efficiency with runs. It's just so much more efficient and you have far more options. So you would then select the 3 best tiles to pass and just mitigate the risk as best you can with what you have left over. And in this case, I think any one of these would be fine. By passing 7.8 bam 9 crack, even though it's 7, 8, 9 consecutive run, at least it's one of each suit. So let's see. I think what we're going to do is, let me see here. We're going to jump over to I Love Mahj, and we'll do it in the exercise room so you can see how to do Charleston Mah, or actually this would be random pulls. Random pulls is what we're going to do. So I'm going to jump over to I Love Mahj. We're just going to toggle back and forth. Okay, here we are. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we're going to use Charleston practice. Now, even though we're just going to do random pulls, we're going to stop before we do the Charleston just because all we're focused on is identifying the strength of a hand. We're not going to do the Charleston yet. So start and then sort by suit for you so you can get the lay of the land. We have a flower, northwest, singles, green, red, singles, 3 bam, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, pair 8 in cracks, and then a 2 and a 4. So we have one multiple in here, the 8 crack. This is how you can really simplify the decision making. You target the multiple. Even though we have a lot of 2, 3, 4, if we start with the 8 crack, we're going to optimize hand development because American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples, and I'll prove it when we get to Charleston modeling. If I were to hold the 8, I would probably hold evens, and I would probably hold the 9 so that maybe we could play 2, 4, 6, 8, or we could play 6, 7, 8, 9 of some kind. And then my first pass would be, let's say, west green with a 3. And we have 2 different options. We could either play evens using the 8 crack, or we could play a consecutive run using the 8 crack. So that's the idea there. We're going to exit here and do one more. So I'm going to click leave and we're going to do it again. And this is where that repetition comes in. You just repeat the exercise. Again, with the focus of identifying the strength in a dealt hand. So here we have a joker, a south, pair 1 bam with a 2, 4, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8 in cracks, pair 4, pair 5, and then a 9 dot single. So when I have several multiples, I usually repeat them in my head, and that tells me the predominant pattern. We have a 1, 4, 5. We have a 4, 5. That's the predominant pattern, 4, 5. So I would hold the 4s, the 4, 5, probably the 6. Anytime you have mixed suits, you want to hold 4 numbers in a range around multiples. And that's because in consecutive run, there are only 2 hands that use 5 numbers in a range. Otherwise, it's a mixture of 3 and 4 numbers in a range. So we have 4, 5. We want to hold 3, 4, 5, 6, or 4, 5, 6, 7. We may or may not be able to use the 2 unless we get a 3. So we could use that 2 crack if we happen to get a 3, but that's an if. You don't want to make decisions based on if. You want to leverage the known variables that you have, like in this case. And we could even keep the 1, 2 for now because we do have 3 tiles that we can pass. When you first get your dealt hand, focus on the strength of the hand, but then quickly identify tiles that you can pass. And I would pass that 8, 9. It's a little risky, but there's risk in every pass. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, or let's say 4, 5 of some kind with this particular hand. All right, so we're going to exit. We'll do it one more time. I like 3s. This time we have 2 pairs of 5s. Sometimes when you practice identifying the strength of the hand after you get your tiles at first, you'll train your mind to target multiples. And here you can immediately see we've got 2 pairs of 5s. So what category would we play? Like numbers. We even have dragons that goes with the second hand down. We have all the 5s. All the 5s. I would focus on like numbers, and I'd probably pass 1.73, or maybe make it a little bit better by passing the 1 band with a 4 dot and a 7 dot. That way we have it even in there with 2 odds. So that's what I would do here. But look at this, like numbers with 5s. We're going to leave it here and jump back to the presentation so I can show you about how to do Charleston modeling. And that's where we're going to pick up with this particular hand. So I'm going to go back to my presentation. And I'll show you, here it is. Okay, we're going to look at these Charleston skill builders. The Charleston is a huge part of the game. Even though it's a pre-game activity, it is where the transformation happens when you get that dealt hand, because the game doesn't really start until East discards their first tile. So with the Charleston, you can transform that dealt hand so that when East discards, you have a good chance of completing it before anybody else. That's the whole purpose of the Charleston. So if you practice there, you can see the potential with all those passing tiles, how you can transform your hand from random tiles to something that you can actually work with before East discards that first tile. The game is divided in phases: the Charleston, the play, and the pay. So I have the Charleston as a big part of the pie because of that transformation that can occur if you make the right decisions at the right time. If you harness the power of the Charleston, optimize your potential to win. That's how important the Charleston is, and why so many of my skill builders are around the Charleston. So here's the focus, and it's just decision making with each incoming pass, because a lot of times it creates a chain reaction. Every decision you make impacts the next, and we're going to do another exercise on that in a few minutes. To do this at home, you're going to gather 13 or 14 random tiles, and that will simulate your dealt hand. And then you're going to create a mock Charleston by putting passes in front of you on the left side in front of you. And I would call this the incoming column. So you have right in, first across in, first left in, then we have second left coming in, second across coming in, and last right coming in. That's the incoming column. The outgoing will be to your right, and you'll see how we do that in a few minutes. This is a mock Charleston. It's meant to simulate the process of, or that transformation through these incoming passes. It is not meant to be exactly like what it is in a live game. It just gives you the opportunity to practice decision making. And sometimes you're going to get some wacky passes by selecting random tiles. Now, if you create this at home and you get a joker in here, you're going to need to swap it out, because jokers are, it's against the rules to pass jokers. One thing you could do is just quickly look through maybe 30, 40 tiles and pull out the jokers, and then mix them up and then create your incoming column. And that way you know there are no jokers in there. Or you can just randomly put that together. And if you happen to get a joker in a pass, just put it out with the other tiles and grab a random tile in its place. So once you have this set up, you're going to take 3 tiles from your hand that you don't need, and you're going to put them into the outgoing column. And then you're going to take the first right in from the incoming side, and you're going to put that in your hand. And then you're going to make decisions, and you're going to continue going. So then once you put those tiles where they belong, you pick your next pass, which would be going across, and you would put that out into the upper right for the outgoing column, and you would move in the first across into your hand. And you're going to continue that. Now, sometimes once you get to first left, you may want to stop the Charleston. You can stop the Charleston when you're doing these practice. If your hand development is so good, you can just stop the Charleston right there. And then you would do the optional across using the tiles that are in the outgoing column. And the reason you don't want to take fresh tiles is because typically some tiles repeat through the Charleston. So you want to do the optional across with the tiles that were used during the Charleston. That's why you see 6 rows instead of 7 on the left. So if you decide to continue, well, then you're going to, oh, here's the optional across, and then you just grab the tiles from the outgoing. But if you continue, the second left will go into the outgoing column, and then you're going to grab your second left in, and so on until you get to the optional across throughout the whole Charleston. And those tiles would be mixed up, and you would put your 3 out and then take 3 in, or however many you give. And that's how you do the Charleston modeling with tiles at home. So let's go over to Mahj, I Love Mahj, and I'll show you how to do it over there. They kind of get it all set up there for you. Let's see, here it is. Okay, so we did the random pull with like numbers. That's what we have, the strength of our hand here. We're leveraging the 2 pairs of 5s. So we picked our first pass, and this is how you do Charleston modeling. There's our pass up there, and you're going to click pass. And we didn't get any keepers in this case. Now we do have a flower, and we did get an east. There is a hand in like numbers with news. So what I recommend is that you keep any tile that can be used in whatever category you're focused on. We're focused on like numbers, and there is news there. So I would keep that east. We also picked up a pair of 1s, but we're not going to be able to use that pair of 1s with all these 5s. There are no hands right now that use these tiles together. So I would break it up and focus on the majority of our tiles in like numbers. So here's our across pass. We did not get any keepers. However, we did get 3, 4. We could maybe switch to consecutive run using third hand from the bottom, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. We have 2 tiles to pass, but I wouldn't stop here. I wouldn't pass blind either. I would give something up, probably the 3, 4, because we have only 1 flower. If we had more flowers, I would consider playing that hand, but we need 5 and we have just 1. That's a huge weakness. So I would just let this go. I would probably give up a 3 in this case. So you want to mitigate the risk as best you can while you focus on the strength of your hand. Right now we're focused on 5s. We got 4, 2, 4 south. We picked up a south. And we have 2 bam, 4 bam, 4 dot. I would definitely continue, but I would not pass like numbers. In my opinion, passing like numbers is almost as risky as passing a pair. And it's okay if you pass like numbers, but the only time I would do that is if I had a really strong hand. And right now we're in between. If you're in between, you still want to mitigate the risk. So if this were me, I would pass the 2, the 4, and then I would give something up. Probably what I would do is either give up a dragon or the winds. Since we only need 2 dragons for the second hand down, I think I would let one of the dragons go. Since we have pairs of 5s, I would let the green dragon go and maybe earmark the 5 bam as my Kong for the second hand down. So I would let the green dragon go. So you're going to use kind of a process of elimination in order to identify the best discard. And one of the beauties of American Mah Jongg is sometimes you see those tiles come back. So even if you give something up, you sacrifice a tile, or you make a mistake, sometimes you'll get it back. And then also you can recover when you get to the next phase of the game, the play. So let's see what we get. We didn't get any keepers. We picked up a south, which is a pair. Now you always want to keep in mind what you can do when you get a pair. In this case, it's not going to help us because we have no north. We have a pair of 2 pairs of 5s, but without north, we're not going to be able to play, for example, the concealed news hand. I think we have still a really good chance for like numbers, and there are 3 hands in that category that we could maybe play. All right, so let's keep going. We got the dragon back. So now we're back to having options. However, we've got like numbers with 6s. I would not pass 2 6s here. I would still give up that dragon and stick with that, leveraging the pairs. So 5s are pairs for the second hand down. We could still play that and be safe because our pairs are in hand. Okay, now here we ended up with a pair of 6s. That might be some, another tactic. After East discards their first tile, there's a tactic for Joker exchange potential. It's called Joker bait, and maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. It's a way to get a Joker in your hand if you haven't heard of it, but I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to talk about it. So just make a note of it. Joker bait, I have lots of videos on Joker bait. So we're going to pass now. We're going to do the optional across, also called courtesy. And this is where you negotiate with the player across from you. And in this particular case, I would rather pass fully than hold this pair personally. But if you look at the tiles that you have here, 2, 8, 6, all evens, I would mitigate the risk and keep them. So I would only pass 2. So I'm not giving them all evens. We picked up a 5 and we got the green dragon back. So that is how you do Charleston modeling at I Love Mahj. We have like numbers with 5s, with or without dragons, with or without news. We have a pair we don't need. Otherwise, everything else is a keeper. That was a really good Charleston. And we've got 2 hands with no gaps. Now, technically, news, we need single north and west, but we have representation for half the block. So I would not call that a gap. I would call it a weakness, which is still not necessarily good. But if this were my hand, I would probably play like numbers with the flowers or the dragons, first and second. I would discard the east and the south and hold the 6 crack for the middle part of the game. Discard 1. Someone makes an exposure with a joker, and on my next turn, I make the exchange. That's Joker bait. All right, so now we're going to do this again. We're going to click new. However, you know what? Let me just share. Actually, let's go ahead and do that because we're going to get to the next skill builder in a minute. We're going to do this one more time, and then we'll go to the next skill builder. So here, oh, this is a good one because we have multiples that don't go together. We have 1s and 6s. The only way those would go together would be addition, and it's a 1 suit hand. We have mixed suits, so there's no way we can use those together. So what do you do when this happens? You look for most of your tiles and you play a category using a multiple where you can use most of your tiles that support it. So if we played, let's say 3, 4, 5, 6, let's just move the tiles over to the right for 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll see how many tiles we have. compared to using the 1 for something. So we'll use the 1 crack as kind of a divider. Oh, here's a 6. We can keep that. 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 numbers in a range, mixed suits. We don't know what hand we're playing, and that's okay. We're just gathering at this point. So we would be using 8 tiles. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see how many tiles we have for 1, 2, 3, 4 of some kind. 1, 2, and a 2. And then here's a 4. We wouldn't be using the 6. With 1, 2, 3, 4 mixed suits, you're not going to go all the way up to a 6. We only have 7 tiles. We do also have some potential in here for 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 4, 5, 6, 7 used most of the tiles. That's what I would focus on. 4, 5, 6, or 2, 4, 6, 8. So I'd probably keep the 2, break up the 1, pass the 3 and the 9. You could even maybe play 3, 6, 9, but 2, 4, 6, 8 uses more tiles. And 4, 5, 6, or 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe we keep the 3 and let's say one of the 2s go. So we could do 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 2, 4, 6, 8. I think that's plenty of options right there. So now we picked up a 3. We have a 5. So it looks to me like 3, 4, 5, 6 uses most of our tiles. So that's what I would focus on. I would not hold the evens, and I would focus on the 6 because that's our pair. So 3, 4, 5, 6 is what I would focus on. 4 numbers in a range around the multiple, because you want to gather around it to maximize your potential to create a hand using the pair, which is the strength of the hand for these tiles. So now let's see what we have. We've got a 4. We have a 1, 9, and a 2 here. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6 in dots. We have 3, 4, 6 in bams, and 4, 5, 6 in dots. We actually have 2 hands with no gaps right now, which is good. We have the 4th hand down, 4, 5, 6, and 2 suits. And there's a multiple with the 6th dot. But we could also maybe do the 7th hand down on the left. 3, 4, 5, 6, all in 1 suit. We could even do 3, 4, bam, 4, 5, 6, which is the mixed suit hand. So we've got lots of options in consecutive run. Now we have a 7, so we can do 4, 5, 6, 7. I would definitely continue. We're going to need to whittle this down. At the moment, we have all 3 through 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's way too many numbers. It doesn't work in consecutive run, so we're going to whittle. We're going to keep going because you're going to have to make that decision anyway. You're just, if you stop the Charleston because you don't know what to do, you're just delaying the inevitable. It's better to not straddle options and whittle down so you can keep going, because this is where the transformation happens. So we're focused on the 6 dot pair, 6 dot pair. When I have, especially with consecutive run, and I have all keepers, if we have 3 through 8, which is way too long of a range, you want 4 numbers, not 5, not 6, you want 4, because that's what is in that category, 4 numbers in a range in mixed suits. So you look for isolated tiles. So in this case, the 8 bam is isolated. There's no 7. So that would be the first tile I let go of. The 4 bam to the 6 bam is also makes that isolated. So the 6 bam may not be a keeper either. And now we just need to let go of one tile. Since we have 4, 5, 6, 7 2 ways, I would probably let either the 3 dot go or the 3 bam. If we let the 3 bam go, we're passing all 1 suit. Now you're not going to use a 3 with an 8, or our opponent won't be using a 3 with an 8, but they may use a 3 with a 6. In 1 suit is a little more risky than, or one suit is more risky than mixed suits. So I'd probably break it up a little bit and let the 3 dot go. So I would focus on 4, 5, 6, 7. We could play the second or fourth hand down or the seventh hand down in either one suit or mixed suits. So here we go. We seem to be continuing to creep up the range, which is an interesting thing that happens when you play the game. Sometimes you can go up. You want to try to keep it in the middle though, because that's where the efficiency is. 4, 5, 6, 7. I'd rather not go up to 8. Even though you can do 5, 6, 7, 8, I'd rather keep it in the middle if I can, because there's greater flexibility. So here I would let the 8 go. And we also have no 8 dot. If we had an 8 dot, I might change my mind, but in this case, I would let it go. And then probably I would let the 7 bam go. That would be an isolated tile. So here we go. Let's see what we get. We got an 8 bam, 9, and a 2. These are all isolated and out of our range, so we can let those go. We have an 8 dot south with a 9. I think we can pass fully. And without an 8 crack, we really don't need that 8 dot. I would pass 8, 9 south. Focus on 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now we ended up getting the 8 back here anyway, but not the 8 dot. So in this case, we have really 3 hands with no gaps. And we have, let's say, if we use the 8s kind of to separate our discards, we have 3 discards and 3 hands with no gaps. I'd say that was a good Charleston. I still wouldn't pick a hand. I would continue to gather. We could play the 4th hand down, 4, 5, 6, or 5, 6, 7, double run, single pair Kong. Or we could play the 7th hand down, pung, pung, Kong, Kong, in either one suit in the dots or mixed suits with either bams, 3, 4, 5, 6 dot. Let's see here, 5, 6, 3, 4. Yeah, I would just leave it at that. I would continue to gather, and we have three discards here. So we're gonna do new tiles, but we're not gonna sort yet because I want to go back to the next exercise, which is called Charleston chain reaction. This, to me, this is really fun, and it's a great way to test your instincts. So let me stop sharing, and I'll present my screen so we can look at, let's see, here it is. We're going to look at how you measure results first. After the Charleston, in order to track your progress with decision making, here's how you can track your results. Assess your position. So in this particular result after the Charleston, this is after the Charleston, we have a flower, 3, 4, 5 in bams, 1, 2, 3 in cracks with a pair of 1s. We have 2, 3, 4, 5 in dots, pair 4, pair 5. So we could play one of 3 hands. We're kind of in between because we have so many options, even though we have no gaps, kind of like our hand that we just played. I would say we'd be an underdog because we don't exactly know yet what hand we're playing. Even though we could play 1, 2, 3, 4 pung, pung, Kong, Kong, we have a lot of discards. If you have 4 discards or more, or if you have over 4 discards, consider yourself an underdog for that game. And what that means is you just need to take minimal risk. You want to just play conservatively as you continue to develop your hand. And then when you are in a stronger position, then you can take on more risk. So here's another example. We have year number 4, news with a year block, the concealed hand. We have 5 discards. Anytime you have more than 4 discards, consider yourself an underdog and take minimal risk until you develop the hand further. Here's another example of a contender. This would be where you have 3 discards, less than 4. Less than 4, or actually this is 4 because we have an extra 7. If we're playing consecutive run number 4, we have an extra 7. So that's 4 discards. This player would be a contender. With only 4 discards, they've got a well-developed hand. So they can take a few more risks as they further develop their hand. Here's another example. This player has, let's see, ignore that previous screen. We have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, odds 1-1. We have 4 discards, so we'd be an underdog. Even though we have a hand with no gaps, we still have to gather more. We could maybe draw until we're ready to call and then improve our position a little bit. Right now, there's nothing we can do if we play the first hand under odds on the right. We can't call for the 5. We've already got the 9 crack pung. We need a 1 crack in order to call. The 3 and the 7 are pairs. So there's nothing we can do except gather here. And that's with 4 discards. That is why we're a contender. Here's another example of a pung pung kong kong hand. We have 5 discards, but one of the parts of our discard group would be joker bait. Because you have joker bait, you could consider yourself a front runner. That could get a joker in your hand if the circumstances are right at the table. You got to be very mindful if you're going to leverage that particular joker tactic, and hopefully we'll be able to demonstrate that when we do gameplay with commentary. But in this case, I would say we'd be a front runner because we have 3 discards with joker bait and a hand with no gaps. So you want to look at, do you know what hand you're playing? Do you have any gaps? Do you have any weaknesses? And decide, when looking at your discards, are you an underdog? Are you a contender? Or are you a front runner? If you're an underdog, take minimal risks. If you're a contender, you can take moderate risks. And if you're a front runner, you play to win as quickly as you can, regardless of risk. If your hand is well developed, you can take on more risk. That's the bottom line of assessing your position. Here's another example of evens number 2. 2 foreign cracks, 4 6 and dots, 8 bam pung there. We have 3 discards, so we're a front runner. So we would be able to risk a pung of 6s with a joker, because all we need to do here is pung the 4 and kong the 8. We have everything we need to claim discards to help expedite hand development. So we would be a front runner here, and we can take on risk of losing a joker to an opponent. So you want to think about those things. Let's go to Mahjong Time. And let's see here. I want to move on actually to the Charleston chain reaction. This is where you test your instincts by doing the Charleston with the same tiles with 2 different plans. So you use the same process that I showed you before, where you get your tiles out, you have an incoming column and an outgoing column, and you'd go through the Charleston, but this time you're going to use your phone and you're going to take a photo of your dealt hand first, and then you're going to take a photo of every incoming pass, because you want to recreate the Charleston and your dealt hand and do it with a plan A and a plan B. So you're going to look for the strength of the hand, identify a plan A and a plan B, and then you're going to go through the Charleston with plan A, note the results. For example, what category you're playing, what hand you're playing, how many discards do you have, basically note the results. And then you're going to do it again with plan B and then compare. And that will help you see if your plan A was right. Were you on point with your assessment of what category to focus on? So let's go to Mahjong, or I Love Mahj. I Love Mahj. We're going to, let's see here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. We're going to go back to I Love Mahj. Let's see, here it is. All right, here's the hand we were dealt. We're going to sort and we're going to target multiples. We have 7, 8, 9 pairs. So we're going to play consecutive run. Incidentally, consecutive run is a powerhouse. It's the most powerful category on the card. And the reason for that is we have 3 suits numbered 1 through 9. So you're going to be playing consecutive run more hands than any other category, just because of the number of tiles in the set and the potential of having runs in your hand. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to win, right? We're playing the game. Everyone's in it to win it. So if you have potential for consecutive run, like here, go for it. Everyone's in it to win it. So you should be in it to win it too. So we have 7, 8, and a 9. 7, 8, 9 of some kind, maybe. Now we have a lot of discards here. Hi, Beth. Thank you for becoming a channel member. Woohoo! I appreciate the support. Okay, so we may be able to switch to big odds if we get more 7s. Because we have so many discards, I would keep the 5. And then I would break these out. Now, we do have a south. There are wind hands that use consecutive tiles, specifically the third hand down, north and south. But without a north, that south is useless. I would let it go and then break out these 2s. So I would pass south with a 1, 2. And then I'd focus on 7, 8, 9 of some kind. And we don't need to pick a hand. You do not need to pick a hand until you run out of discards. All we know is we're going to leverage the 7, 8, 9 and focus on consecutive run. So we're going to pass that. And we got 7s, a 7 and now a 9. So we have 7, 8, 5, 7, 9. We have 2 dragons and a 2, 3. 2 clear discards. So we know we need to identify one more discard. So this is when you look at the hand level, when you run out of discards. So we could maybe let's say, the red dragon go. It'd be a little bit risky because we've got a 2, 3 red, 2, 3 red, 2 consecutive numbers in different suits and a corresponding dragon with one of those tiles. So it's a little bit risky. You want to focus on your own hand development first. That's your priority. And then you do the best you can with what you have left over. We do have a potential in here for use of this white dragon with big odds, but we would have to throw away 2 pair, the 7 and the 8. And not only that, we would have to also wait for flowers. We don't have flowers, and that would be a pair gap for the third hand down. So I wouldn't do that. I would not focus on that white dragon. It looks pretty, but without a flower, it's useless. So most likely that's going to go. I would still focus on 7, 8, 9 of some kind and not pick a hand. So let's just see what we get. We've got a 7 bam. Now here's a 6 dot and a 4. I would completely reassess. Right now we have 4 through 9. That's too long of a range. You're not going to go all the way from 4 to 9. So by looking at these tiles, we have 7 bam pung, 8 dot or 8 bam pair. Then we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. The 9 pung is isolated from the 7, especially without flowers. We really can't use 5, 7, 9 without flowers this year on the card. So I would not be distracted by that. What I would probably do here is focus on options where there are no gaps. 7, 8 with a 5, 6. 5, 6, 7, 8 right here. 5, 6, 7, 8. That is a hand with no gaps. That would be the 7th hand down on the right. We wouldn't need the 4, the white, and I would probably let 1 9 dot go. I'd let the 9 dot go, I think. We have 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 6, 7, 7, 8. I think I would just stop there and see what happens. We're really focused more on the 7, 8 than we are the 9. We got an 8 and a 6. So I would dig my heels in hard and go for 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at that. 5, 6, 7, 8. This hand is set. We could pung the 5, pung the 6, Kong the 7, and the 8. So then I would continue and break up the 9 and let the 5 go. And I would keep it going. I'd probably pass 2, 5, 9. Oh, we have a pair in here, but joker bait, which is what that pair is, we don't need it. We have all the jokers we need, actually. We don't even need more, although more would be helpful because it would help us avoid exposures, which is good. But I would rather pass fully and see if we can get a keeper than hold that 4 dot all the way to 60 tiles remaining. That is the sweet spot for joker bait, because you got to give your opponents time to gather tiles in order to use that 4 to then make an exposure with a joker, so you could then use the other 4 to get it. So I would rather pass fully. So let's pass that. So we focused on a consecutive run here, and we ended up with a hand with no gaps and 4 discards. We need to do the optional cross though. So let's pass fully. I think I would probably pass though the 8, because we let a pung of 9s go. Someone held the 9s. Okay, so now we have 4 discards and a hand with no gaps. We're actually set. Pung the 5 with the joker, pung the 6, Kong the 7, and the 8. 4 discards. I would still say that we're probably a contender with 4 discards. We're the dealer though, we have an extra tile. So when we discard that, we're only going to have 3 discards. So I'd say we're a front runner for this particular result. So now what we're going to do, instead of consecutive run, we're going to play odds with the same tiles. So we're going to click replay. This is chain reaction, because every pass and each decision that you make, it creates a chain reaction with each subsequent pass. So you can end up with something completely different. So let's focus now on odds, and then we're going to compare results. So we were a front runner on that one because we were the dealer. We had an extra tile. Once we discard to start the game, we had 3 discards in a hand with no gaps, and we were set. So now let's see what happens if we focus on odds. So that would be our plan B. We might as well keep the 1 and the 3 because they are odd. And let's break up the 8 and pass a 2. So now we're focused on odds. We got a 5 here. Here's a 9, big surprise. And here now we have 2 8 red. That's a little bit risky, but in evens, the dragon hand corresponds. So that's not too bad. Even though it looks risky, it's really not. Let's see here. There is a big odd hand with the opposite dragon, and that does fit. Let's let the white dragon go instead. This is the second hand from the bottom on the right. We have a gap though, no 7 dot. Okay, so we got a 7, bam. We're focused on odds. Let's let it go. North 6 red. We've got evens and a south, so we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Here's a 3 crack. We have all odds in here. We need 1 more tile. So I would say probably this 1 bam would be the discard. There's really not a lot we can do with it. And I think the 3 is likely going to be joker bait. I would say if I had to pick a hand here, I'd play the second hand down, gap hand. We need a 7 dot. That way we can leverage the 7 bam and we can leverage the 9 dot. But let's just see what happens. Okay, so we have a 5 crack. We have 2 tiles to pass. I would want to pass fully. Really, this 5 dot is not helpful without a 7 or flowers. So I think I would let that 5 dot go. Let's see if we get a keeper in here. Here's a 7. We have 2 discards. We have 5 7 5 7 9. 5, 7, 9. It's just really not gelling. I would rather pass fully and see if I could get more keepers. I think what I would do here is focus on big odds and let the 3 go. Okay, so we ended up with 4 discards, 2 strong multiples, but no clear hand. So consecutive run was the far better choice. And that is why you do Charleston chain reaction using this method, where you can replay with the same tiles for plan A and plan B and note the difference. I would say we would be an underdog on this one. 4 discards and we don't know what hand we're playing. All right, so now we're going to jump back to the presentation very quickly. I just want to talk about the next 2 because I want to get to gameplay with commentary. The next one is Charleston Force, and this is where you force yourself to play pre-selected hands. And this just forces you out of your comfort zone. And that's a very good practice. You want to make yourself uncomfortable by playing hands you don't normally consider. So pre-select hands and force them into being. And we might be able to do that when we do gameplay with commentary in a few minutes. Make up strips for each category on the card, draw 3, and then do Charleston modeling, forcing those 3 hands. And then the last one that I want to share about is sprints. This is just where you make the quickest decisions possible so that you can get past the paralysis of analysis. Just force yourself to make super quick decisions. The idea here is if you're a beginner, you want to try to get an average of getting through the Charleston in under 4 minutes. If you're an intermediate player, try to get through the Charleston in under 3 minutes. And if you're an advanced player, try to get through the Charleston in under 2 minutes. If you can get to that 2-minute mark, you can play online comfortably with experienced players, and you could even maybe play in a tournament. So the idea is to push yourself to get to that 2-minute mark. Remember to note your position, because that's how you're going to assess your progress with decision making. The idea with skill builders are to optimize retention, develop problem solving, improve decision making, and gain confidence. So I hope you give these skill builders a try with your tiles at home or at Mahjong Time. And remember, if you've not tried it yet, use MAHJLIFE to get an extra week for free. Okay, so now let's go ahead and play against the bots. And we're going to play at the intermediate level. So here we go. Gameplay with commentary now. So we're going to put all those into practice. We're going to first identify the strength in the dealt hand. Does everybody see the pair? That's where you start. With American Mah Jongg, it's a game of multiples. So I would focus on the 9. We could maybe play 3, 6, 9 of some kind. Or if we get 7s, we could switch to 6, 7, 8, 9. So I would hold those. We almost have news. I would stop there. We've got plenty of choices. I'd break up the 1s and even pass that white dragon. All right, we have a 7, and then here's a 6. Oh, we have a green dragon here. Now in consecutive run, the dragon hands are opposite. So that dragon is really not helpful. It looks pretty, but it's not helpful. With almost news in the hand, we could maybe leverage that if we get a 9 or if we build up news. I think what I would do here is focus on 6, 7, 8, 9 of some kind, just for flexibility. Okay, so now we have a 6. Let's let the dragon with a 1 go. So we have 6 ooze with 9, 6s. Look, we could play like numbers with 6s and news. I think I would let that 8 dot go. Okay, we picked up another 6. Let's continue. We're going to pass the red, the 2, and then we have 6s here. We might still be able to switch back to like numbers. are not like numbers, but 3, 6, 9. So let's keep that 9. Let's let a 7 go. Okay, now we have a south and an east. Pair east, pair south. We have a 1 and 8. So now we have to pick something. We've run out of discards. This is when you pick a hand. I think what I would do here is let the east go, because we could still maybe switch to 3, 6, 9 if we get that 3 back and play maybe that second hand down. But we could also maybe play like numbers with 6s in news under any like numbers, or we could play the concealed news hand with 6s. Okay, so we got a west, which is really not helpful. We have a 2 and a 4, also not helpful. I would continue without a 3. We could still maybe get that 3. I would let the west go. Oh, we got a north. Okay, so in my opinion, that would solidify it. I would let the 9s go and focus on news concealed with 6s and break up the 9. Okay, so we have that east in there. We did end up getting a 3 crack here. So if we were to look at, let's just use this flower to separate our keepers. We have either news with like numbers. We have an extra south, so technically that would be 5 discards, but we're the dealer, so we have an extra discard. So that would mean 4 discards if we play like numbers with news. But we could also maybe play the concealed hand, and we're back down. We still have 4 discards. So I'd say we're a contender on this one. 4 discards, that makes us a contender. So that means we can take minimal risks. We don't want to take, or moderate risk, actually, not minimal. Minimal risk would be an underdog. We're a contender. So we can take some risks here. We're good there. Okay, now there's a Kong. We need a pair if we play like numbers with news. So we need to keep an eye on flowers. We don't need big numbers. I would hold that piece just in case, because we could maybe play the 4th hand down under winds. We would need a pair of flowers, though. Okay, let's let the 8 go. I think maybe this hand wanted to be 3, 6, 9. We don't need a 5. 5s are going down. That's our tile, but we can't call it. We have wiggle room, though. We're looking for keepers. There's one. Okay, now let's let the 3 go. Oh, joker up for grabs. We're good there. There's a 9 crack. We're good there. Now they have a Kong of flowers and then 3 cracks there. They're playing like numbers. They're playing like numbers with 3s. So we need to swap out that 3 and let it go before they're ready. We're going to let that go. There's another 6. Okay, so now they need the 3 bam, like numbers with 3s. So I'd say we're really close here to the concealed hand. That's probably what I would focus on. And that way we don't have to worry about flowers. Right now there's a Kong out and a discard. That's 5. We have 1. That's 6. There's only 2 left. Now, if we draw a flower, we might play news with like numbers. Oh, now we have a Kong. I would probably switch to like numbers with 6s and news. Leverage the Kong. Let's see if we can get a 3, do a joker exchange. Okay, so we're looking for a flower. That's really our only weakness. Well, we need a 6 dot so we can Kong. 3 bam. Uh-oh, no. That is their tile. They need that. We don't want to discard that, I don't think. I think what I would do here I'd probably, let's see here. I'd keep it. Let's let the 6 p.m. go. When someone has 3 exposures and you have their tile, you need to really count the cost of discarding that tile. We're at 54 tiles remaining. We're going into the end game in 2 picks. We might switch to defense here. There's a north. Let's let the flower go. Let's let that go. I'm hoping someone else will discard the 3. Oh, here, look. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. They drew it themselves. Have discarded that winning tile. I have to confess that I was tempted. I was tempted to discard that tile because look how close we are. All right, let's play again. Charleston. Okay, what do we have now? We have Joker, red, white, 1 bam pair with 2-5, 2-3 crack, pair 3, 1-4-6. So our multiples 1-3. That screams little odds. So I would hold 1-3-5. 1-3-5, but we've got options in here. I would hold the 2-3-4. There's some potential in there for 2-3-4. So we have 2 clear discards. 2 clear discards. I would let something go in here from our keepers. I would not pass 2 dragons. That would be almost as risky as passing a pair, I think. So I would probably, let's see, we have 1-2-5, 2-3, 1-4. I would probably let the 1 dot go. Okay, so let's see. We got a 3, 1-3-5, 1-3 bam, or 2-3-4-5, 1-2-3. I would not pass 2 dragons. Let's see. We have 1-2-3 and a 2-3. I think I would let the 5 go and focus on 1-4. 1-4. Here's a 1 crack. We could play the 3rd or 4th hand down. 4th hand down. I would risk passing that white dragon. Let's see. We have 1-2, 1-2-3, 2-3, 2-3-4. We could maybe play the concealed hand here. Either way, we don't need a pair of 1s. If we do 2-3, 2-3, 4 concealed, consecutive, we don't need a pair of 1s. If we do 1-2-3 and 2 runs, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 4th hand down, we only need a single 1. So let's let it go. Wow, look at the wins. We're going to keep going. And this is where we have to make a choice. Let's see here. We have a pair west. We have 3s. I probably would let that west go. And now we have to make a choice. I think I would play either 1-2-3 double run or 2-3, 2-3, 4 and risk passing 2 wins. That's a little bit risky. We got a keeper out of it, so it was worth it. I think I would play 2-3, 2-3, 4 concealed. It'd be really nice to get that 4 in here. All right, let's just see what we get. We got our 2. I don't know. I would maybe hold that. So we have 1-2-3 single pair Kong. The 4 dot would be a pair for us. We're in between the 4th hand down and the concealed hand. I think I would keep it all and see what we get. We've got 2 tiles that we can let go of here. So we have 2 discards and 2 hands with no gaps. I'd say we're a front runner. Even if we count the discards, for example, if we play the concealed hand, we'd have 4 discards. We would be a contender for the concealed hand. If we played the 4th hand down, we would be a contender because there we have 3 discards. So we're a contender for one hand and a front runner for another. So we should go for the front runner hand and let the 4 go. We are going to let these wins go. Okay, there's a joker up for grabs to the left. We do not have a keeper unless we play, let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 dot is what we would need. We don't need the eights regardless. We're going to keep the 1 just for a little bit. We'll see what happens. If we get a, well, there it is, the 3 dot. If we get a 3 dot, we could switch to 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so somebody just nabbed Wes, the player on our right just nabbed that joker over there. We got the 3. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 concealed. And we can leverage that one crack. That 3 bam, we need that for the 4th hand down, but we can't call it. So we're just gonna let it go. Since we let the 3 bam go, I think I would let that go and focus on 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. If we're playing single pair Kong, we would use our only joker and a 3 bam is already out. That would require us to use a joker too. I would let it go. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We'll use the 3 crack. You really, if you're a pair tall goes down that you're maybe thinking for joker bait and no one takes it, it's not good joker bait. There's no power there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, I think is what we should focus on. We could still maybe do that 3rd or 4th hand down, but it will only work if we get jokers. There's a keeper, a 2. So let's see here. We still have 2, 3. Let's just take a peek here. We're in between 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I think the 1, 2 is strong. Okay, so we're going to let that go and this go. All right. I'd say we're still a contender. We have a 3 crack pair we don't need, but it's probably not good joker. It'd be really nice if we can get that 3 dot. East. 7 bam, no. Okay, so we're looking for 3 dot. A 1 bam would be good. A 1 bam is out right now. We need a pung. 9, 3. So 3s are going down. Well, the 3s we don't need are going down. That was our tile, but we can use jokers. 1 joker up for grabs right now. We don't want to miss that opportunity there. We need a 3 dot. 3 dot would be ideal. Oh, so they're doing 4, 5, 6, 7, pung, pung, kong, kong. That is the 2nd hand from the bottom. Joker exchange. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to be able to use that over here somewhere. We don't want a white dragon. We need that 3 dot. Oh, 3 bam. 1, 2, hold the phone. Hold the phone here. Let's see here. So we're risking playing the concealed hand with 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But we could switch to 1, 1, 2, 3 single pair Kong, but we would have to throw away a pung, a 2 bam. That would be breaking up a pung. I think we should stick with it. Stick with it here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I would stick with it. It's a little tempting though. Oh, uh-oh. Let's see here. This could be a winner up here, but we took a joker from them. There's a 6 dot out. They're going to need a joker to make this happen. I don't think they're ready yet. How many 5 dots are out? I don't see any 5 dots. We're at 33 tiles remaining. We need a pair of 3s and none are out. Oh, let's see. The 6 dot is going to be risky if we keep going. I would let it go now. They weren't ready for it. The longer we held onto that 6 because the player across from us needs it, the riskier it would be. So if you're playing to win, you discard the riskiest tile first. If we folded, we would keep it. We're going to let it go. So now they need massive jokers, a massive quantity of jokers. Well, not massive, but relatively speaking. Joker. Okay. Oh, that's our tile. We're not ready. We're 1 away. One. We're playing concealed. Joker exchange. Ready to win. We're ready to win on a 3 dot. We got there. So there's 1 more 3 dot. Let's see if we can get it. Another joker. We're playing with robots. They don't get spooked. If I were playing at a table with people, I'd probably discard a natural tile instead of the joker, because that joker can spook humans. We're looking for a 3 dot. There it is. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Mahjong. Woohoo! Woohoo! We got it. We got the Mahjong. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 concealed. All right, let's play again. All right, now we're targeting multiples. We've got a pair of souths, a pung of 2s, and a pair of 7s. 2s and 7s do not go together unless you're playing addition. But we have no 5 and we have no flowers. So I wouldn't even consider it. I would focus on 2, 3, 4 of some kind. Thank you, Evelyn. 2, 3, 4. I'd break up the 7 and pass the dragon. 2, 3, 4 of some kind. Here's a 4. Here's a west. 7, 8. I probably would focus on the concealed news hand. Hello, Judy. So we have a 2, 4. This 4 band isolated. I would let it go. Here's a 1 and a 2. We have a Kong of 2s now. 7 can go. We have 1, 2 band, 3, 4 crack. And we have ooze. That ooze is really not helpful. I'd probably let the south go. Let's see here. South. We have no north. We do have some potential for like numbers with 2s, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, no gaps. I think I would focus on that and let the 2 dot go. Okay, here we go. Focus on what you have. So we're going to keep going. We don't have flowers, so I probably would break out these wins. Now hold the phone here because we're on second left. We gave them a wind already. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, no gaps. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have an extra 2 in there. So, and we gave them a south. We're giving them a dragon. So probably what I would do here is give them a 2. Because if we play 1, 2, 3, 4, second hand from the bottom on the right under consecutive run, we only need a pung of 2s. Without flowers, we're really not going to be playing like numbers. And we gave up a 2 dot already. I wouldn't pass 2 dragons. And I really don't want to give them 2 wins. So I would give them this 2 bam. Okay, now here we have a 3 crack. That was worth the sacrifice, I think. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, no gaps. We have 2 multiples in there. No keepers here. We do have a 1 dot. If we get flowers, we could play 1 dot, 2 bam, 3 crack, mixed suit Kongs, third hand down on the right. We have a 2, 3. Maybe the south can go to a different person. We do have some potential for east and west with offsuit Kongs. Third hand down on the right. No keepers. You can just pass these along. We got a 3, 4. So we have 1 through 4 with ooze. We really do not need those wins unless we get a north. So we have a pure pung. We need to Kong the 3. So that 3 we couldn't do anything with. 9s, we don't need 9s. I think without, let's see, we have a 2 dot pung and a 3 crack. We really don't need that south. All right, first flower out. 4 dots are going down. 9 bam, we don't need. All right, so now we do have a flower. This is where I was thinking maybe we could play 1 dot, 2 bam, 3 crack. Somebody kept the 2 bam. If they discard it, we could potentially Kong. 4 dot is probably a good discard. I think the east and west is a stretch. I would let it go and hold number tiles. Okay, now here's where we need to make a choice. If you know what hand you're playing and you have no gaps and few weaknesses, one of your tiles goes down, consider calling it. We do have weaknesses. We need a pair for the flower. We need 3 1s and we need another 3 crack. So we do have weaknesses. In this particular case, I would probably let it go because we have so many weaknesses. I would rather focus on 1, 2, 3, 4.
7, 3.
If we had a stronger representation of this 1 dot and maybe even the flower in our hand, I might have called that, but because we don't, it's not helpful. It would just basically paint us into this corner. So you want to look at weaknesses. We have no gaps, but we've got weakness. That just means that we need to take minimal risk. Now there's the flower, so that changes things. Let's let the 7 go. Now we can do 1, 2, 3 mixed Kongs because we have that flower. And at this point, we can use jokers. We can't call anything at the moment. Let's see. So we have 1, 3, 4. We have 1, 2 and bams, 3, 4 and cracks. Let's just see how this goes. So they have a double pung dragons there, double pung. With a double pung, they're playing the second hand down under like numbers, or they could second hand down under like numbers or second hand down under winds and dragons. Now they need flowers. Wow. Oh no. Okay, they don't need flowers. All right. We have 2 and there are 2 out. That's 4.
1 bam.
Okay, so here's a 3 bam. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. The 3, 4, 5 and dots are going down. So let's let those go. We'll let those go right there. Okay, here we go. 2 jokers up for grabs ahead of us there, the red dragon. That's our tie. Oh, no. If we're playing 1, 2, 3 mixed Kongs, third hand down on the right under consecutive run, we don't need that. Here's a 2 now. 1, 2. We have 1, 2, 1, 2. We could maybe switch to like numbers with 2s or maybe even a year hand, but there's white dragons out. Well, might as well put that in there. Don't need 9 dot. We're an underdog on this one. Joker. Okay, now let's see. I'm thinking 1, 2, 3 mixed Kongs. We could maybe do 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I would want to use these flowers though, because this player across from us, they need flowers. I would not discard those. I would use them. So we're gonna play 1, 2, 3 mixed Kongs, and there's our discards. 4. We're still in the middle game. I'd say we're probably still an underdog because we're gonna need a joker. At least 2 at this point, because now there's a 1 dot out and we're not ready for it. There, joker exchange. Okay, now we have 3 discards. We're still in the middle game. We have our pair. We need, we've got a joker for the 2. We can claim a discard for the 3. We need a joker for the 1. I'd say we're maybe a contender at this point. Now, if we get another joker in here, or we draw a 1, I'd say we could maybe bump up to front runner. Kind of a late game switch here. Here's a white dragon. Without this 3 crack, I think we should stick with where we are. I was tempted to maybe switch to a year hand, but the dragons are up here. Okay, now here we need to make a choice. That's our tile. I would call and Kong. We're risking only 1 of those jokers there because there's a 1 dot right there. So we need a joker for the 2 and we need a 3 crack. We're playing 1, 2, 3 mixed songs. There was a joker exchange. Where? Oh, R1. They got R1. Okay, now let's see. 4 crack was just discarded. I'm going to move the flower over to kind of separate our keepers. 2 dot was discarded recently too. Nobody wants it. East and west. I don't see any east out. We better let that go. Okay, there's a wind over there. Late game. Uh-oh, we got a flower. Okay. Oh, we're not ready for that. We're at 24 tiles. We have 3 exposures in front of us. Oh, flower. Someone threw a flower. There it is. I was just thinking we probably ought to fold because they won. Someone threw a flower and they won. Agata. Agata. I got a joker. I got a dead hund. Agata dead hund. Anyhow, that's what you get. Let's start again. Okay, now we have a widespread joker, flower, west. Oh, no, we have a 2-band pair. There we go. That's where we start. 2-band. With a 2-band, I would hold the 3, 4. 2-band, we have a 4, a 6, and a no 8. Maybe we could hold that 6. I would probably hold the 5 for 2, 3, 4, 5 of some kind. And then I would break up these 9s. Can't use 9s with 2s. So let's pass thusly. Okay, we have a 6. We've got 9s. Look at the 9s. Okay, now we're going to reassess because now we have 2s and 9s paired up. We have way more 3, 6, 9 than we do 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 2, 3, 4, 5 is not gelling. I think what I would do is let the 4 go, the 5, and break up the 2. Focus on 3, 6, 9. Let's see. 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9 of some kind. We'll leverage the 9. Here's a 9. There's 5, 6, 7. Let's see. We'll put that there. We want to keep going. We're in between. We have 6, 9, 9, 5, 6, 7, 9. Let's see here. 6, 9. We have no 3. It'd be really nice to get a 3 dot. We could play the second hand down under 369. Since that's our only 3, maybe we should keep it and let the 5 and the 7 go. There's some potential in here for 5, 7, 9, but we have more tiles with 6s. Okay, now we have 2, 7, 4. Those can go. 2, 4 south can go. Although we do have potential in here for like numbers with 9s. Let's let this 3 crack go. It's not gelling. Okay. 2, 4, 7. We can let those go. I'm hoping to get wins. Okay, we got a 9. I would probably switch to like numbers with 9s here. We'll see. We really don't have to pick a hand yet, but now we have half of news. I would switch to like numbers with 9s. We have no 3. That would be a gap. You want to let the gap hand. Oh, we just got it. We just got 3, 6, 9 now. I would reassess. We have a 4 we don't need, so we still don't have to pick a hand. Maybe 3, 6, 9 would be better. 3, 6, 9 in dots with pungs of 9s. We have a weakness though with that 6 dot. We could let that 6 bam go before we have to make a choice, because we could still maybe play like numbers with 9s. Probably the first hand. We would need, that's a single for us. Oh, there's a joker exchange potential there, and I would take it, because now we can use that. We can switch to 3, 6, 9 in bams and let the 6 dot go. So there's 3, 6, 9 in bams. That's a single for us. Flower. Let's go for it. Okay, we need a 6 bam. That's our weakness right now. We have one weakness. Nine crack. We're ready to win. Let's see. No, wait a minute. We have an extra. What do we need here? 3, 6, 9. We need to pung. We need a pung. We need 3 pungs of 9s. Second hand down. The pungs could be either 3, 6s or 9s. We're ready to win on a 6 bam. At 78 tiles remaining, we just got into the middle game. This was awesome. This was a really excellent result. We're ready to win on a 6 bam. We might even be able to play a pure hand. We could pung the 9s. We're looking for a 6 bam to win. There it is. Mahjong. Woohoo! We got the Mahjong. Second hand down under 3, 6, 9. Leveraging multiples. All right, let's play again. So we have a pair of green dragons and a pair of 7 dots. So whatever we do, we're going to try to use those. Green dragons and 7 dots. Thank you, Shirley. Let's see, where'd that go? Green dragons with 7 dots. Maybe we could play that second hand down under consecutive run. We have a gap. We need a 5 dot or a 9 dot in there. Thank you, Sue. Okay, so we have dragons in north and south. North and south with dragons, we would need flowers, which we don't have any. We have 6, 7, 8. I would hold the 8, 9 here. 6, 7, 8, 9. I would probably pass 1, 4 and break out the winds. We're going to break wind. Okay, now here's a 9. Oh, we have all the dragons. Look at that. Okay, so we're kind of down to this place where we have all 6 through 9, and we have dragons. Dragons that really are not gelling at the moment. We have like numbers with eights, like numbers with nines, like numbers with sixes, but we have a pair of sevens. That pair of sevens, that should take precedence. 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9 of some kind. I would let the dragon go. Okay, there's a 7, and now we have a 9. Pair 9, 6, 7, or 7, 8, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, no gaps. So I would let the dragon go. We have 6, 7 dot, 8, 9 crack, no gaps. We have 6, 7, 8, 6, 7. We really don't need that 9 bam. Okay. We just got the 9 bam. Let's continue. That's really not helpful. We have 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9 of some kind. We really don't need that. And I would break up these dragons. It's just not helpful. I'd rather focus on number tile. Okay, so there's a 7. We have tiles we can pass. 1, 3 dragon. We have 7s. Like numbers with 7s. Hold the phone there. Maybe we can keep those and switch to like numbers with 7s and dragons. We have 6, 7, 6, 7, 8 though, concealed. Let's let the dragon go. Okay, now we have tiles we can pass. Right there. No keepers. So we're in between 6, 7, 8, 9, pung, pung, kong, kong. We have joker bait and 1, 2, 6 discards. So we're an underdog there. If we play the concealed hand, 6, 7 dot, 6, 7 bam, 8 crack, and then we have joker bait with the 9, 5 discards with joker bait. Either way, we're an underdog. So we need to take minimal risk. Let's just see how this goes. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's throw this out. So we're playing some kind of 6, 7, 8, 9. We're gonna keep gathering until we run out of discards. Okay, there's 2, 4, 2, 4. We do have some 2, 4, 6, 8 in here, but our multiples are with the 7s. That is what we should focus
on. 5. So
there's a 6. Hello, Wes. Okay, we're playing 6, 7, 8, 9 of some. We would need to Kong that. For the second hand from the bottom on the right, we're not ready. I would just be more inclined to play the concealed hand with 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. Okay. There's joker bait. We might be able to get a joker out of that 4. So 6 crack. We have 6, 7, 8, 9 in here. Look at all that 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see here. Let's let this 4 go. I was thinking about maybe that pair hand. 9, 9, 8 pair hand. Look at all the 6 through 9 we have here. Every tile is 6 through 9 at the moment. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's let the 6 crack go. Okay, so they're doing 2, 4, 6, 8. They need these 8 cracks. We have 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. I'm kind of thinking we should use those 8 cracks for the concealed hand. If we get a 9 dot and an 8 bam, we could maybe even switch to the outside pair hand, third one down on the right. So that someone got a joker there. Oh, no worries, Wes. 8 bam just went down. 9 bam is down. We got a joker. I would not play the concealed hand. So we have 6-7 dot, 6-7 bam with 8 crack pair concealed. That's what I would focus on. And the 9 crack was discarded, so it's likely not good joker bait. We're playing 6-7, 6-7, 8 concealed under consecutive run. And this player to our left, they need that 8 crack. All right, now here we got a flower. We have like numbers with 7s. We could maybe play 7, 8, 9 mixed suit Kongs, but it's not quite gelling. Let's let the 9 crack go. We would need 7 dot, 8 crack, 9 bam. There's already a 9 bam out. I'd rather do the concealed hand. If we're going to play to win, we need to let that flower go. 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. I was thinking about that, but we would have to throw away a pair of 7s, and I'd rather leverage the multiple and play the concealed hand B. But yes, that would be a possible hand. So yes, you could do 6, 7, 8, 9, second hand from the bottom on the right. I think I would like to play that concealed hand though. But let's just see what happens. We could still go there. We let 1 9 crack go. So let's just see what happens. That is a pair for us. Let's see if what happens with Agata here. They're in trouble. Oh, they're playing 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought they were playing 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. That'll work. Okay, 9 bam. Oops, get on over there. We don't want that flower. Oh, they did a joker swap. Now look at this player over here. They have a potential pure hand. How many 5 cracks are out? I don't see any 5 cracks. We do not want them to get a pure hand.
For 8 crack, 2 crack, 3 crack.
That's a keeper. 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. This is looking pretty good. We're in the end game. Keeper. Okay, we're 1 away from ready. We do not want a 5 crack. Or not right now. That would be really painful if we did. Okay, Wes just got like members. We had a couple of front runners here. Everybody was a front runner on this one. They're ready to win on a 5 crack. Here we have like numbers with 1s, but we got 1 away from ready on that concealed hand. Okay, now we have a true widespread north 1, 3, 7, 9 in bams, 3, 4, 7 in cracks, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 in dots. We're in between evens and odds. We have no 5. That's a gap. We could do 2, 3, 4. I think what I would do is play evens because we have no 5. Okay, now there's an 8 and a 3. We paired up with a 9, so I would reassess. I think we would maybe do well if we played 3, 6, 9. We have all tiles represented. Let's let the 1, the 4, and the 2 go. 3, 6, 9 or 7, 8, 9. There's an 8. Here's a 3 though, and a 5. Now we get the 5. So we have 3, 5, 7, 8, 3 crack pair, 8 dot pair, 9 dot pair, 8, 9, 3, 6, 9 in here, 7, 8, 3, 5, 7, 3, 3, 6, 9, no flowers. I was thinking maybe we could try for the second hand down, but we have no flowers. Maybe we could go for the concealed hand. 3, 6, 9. We need to make a choice here. Let's see here. We have an 8 bam out there. Let's put a 5 out there. Okay, we have tiles we can pass. We don't need these at all. Okay, there's an 8, and here's pair of 7s. Whoa, this was kind of wonky, really, very wonky. So we have 7, 8, 9 of some kind in here, maybe 3, 6, 9, but we have no flowers. So I would not focus on 3, 6, 9. I'd focus on the 7 crack, the 8, and the 9. So I would probably not break anything up and pass 1 blind. Okay, there's a 9. We have a 2, a 3 we can pass. That 9 bam is really not helpful with an 8, 9 in dots, unless we try to force the outside pair hand. Let's just pass 2. We maybe could have given up that 6 dot. Okay, so we're an underdog because we don't know what hand we're playing yet. So let's just see how this goes. North can go. Here's 3, 4. We don't need those. The 3, 4s are discards. The 3 crack could be joker bait. Oh, there's 2 jokers up for grabs. That's aggressive. That's aggressive play there. Oh, look, we have 3, 6, 9 showing again. Oh, interesting. Here's 5. 5, 6, 8, 9. We need that 7 dot if we're going to use that. Okay, so we have 3, 6, 9, a 9. This 7 crack is really not helpful. Neither is the 4, really. 3, 4. We do have a hand in here with no gaps. 3, 4 crack, 5, 6. It is just not. We'd have to throw away a pung and a pair. I don't think I would do that. Let's let the 4 go. I think the 7 crack is joker bait. I would focus on either 3, 6, 9 or 5 through 9 in one suit. 7 is out though. We'll let that go.
3,
Oh man, the joker swaps are so fast.
4,
Okay, we need some decision tiles here. I'm kind of thinking the 3s will go. 8 bam. Well, let's see here. We have 7, 8, 9. Let's let the 3 go. Really, I'm thinking this 3 crack is going to need to go. Well, we're not going to play 7, 8, 9 outside pair hand because there's a pung out. But if we get a 6 crack, we could do 6, 7, 8, 9, leverage these multiples. But that's a big if, and that is a pung gap. We don't want to focus on that too much. And since we don't know what hand we're playing yet, I would not call that. 4 dot. We really don't need that. That's kind of our tile, but okay, 5 bam. Let's let these 3s go.
1 dot. West.
We still don't know what hand we're playing. We're gathering.
3,
There's an 8 bam. So we have 7 crack. We have all 5 through 9. It's really not gelling though at the moment. Now that's kind of an interesting tile, even though we have no 7s. I suppose we could use jokers. Second hand down. No, not second. 5th hand down. 6, 7, 8, 9, drag it. Oh, they're all out. We're not going to keep that. Well, we don't need the 3 either. I think we need to just fold. This has been a rough one. This one. Okay, now green dragon. We might be able to use that with the second hand down if we get a 7 and a joker. We don't want to focus on if. Oh, now there we go. There's a joker exchange right there. We're taking that. Thank you. All right, now let's see here. We have that joker there now. 5 through 9. It's weak. We have 8, 9, 8, 9. Not helpful. A flower. Okay. Let's let the dragon go. We have the 8s. 8s. We need a 6 crack. A 6 crack for what hand? Well, it doesn't matter now. We have a Mahjong. All right, I think that's going to do it for this live stream. Oh, that was a rough hand right there, but we had a couple of winners in there and a lot of opportunities for learning. Remember this quote by Nelson Mandela: I never lose. I either win or learn. I found that quote. I don't even know. I think I was researching how to handle a losing streak. This was years ago, although I have had many losing streaks in between, but I was studying how to handle a losing streak. I was studying poker articles, poker books, and I was looking for quotes on losing streaks, and I stumbled onto that quote. I never lose. I either win or learn. Nelson Mandela said that. It's a fantastic quote. And this is actually in my new book. It's actually in both my books, both primers. That quote is in there because it is really encouraging, because sometimes when you don't win time after time after time, it can get a bit discouraging, but it's a mindset thing. You got to switch your mindset. It's not, even though we play the game because we want to win, clearly it's a game. That's why we play the game mostly, because we want to challenge ourselves and we want to win. Everyone's in it to win it. But you're not always going to win. Even if you're an experienced player, you're not going to always win. That's not how it works. So you've got to have the right mindset to keep yourself from going on tilt, because that will affect your game. It will affect your performance if you get a bad attitude about winning. It's not always about winning. Sometimes it's about learning. Thank you, B. Thank you so much. Okay, Evelyn, thank you for letting me know. Thank you for being here, for the kudos on the wins, and for your support on the learning process. So we'll be back again at 4 p.m. Eastern for the next Nitty-Gritty Let's Play live stream. And for that one, I'm trying to remember what the topic is. Nitty-Gritty Prime Time. The topic for that session is going to be competitive play. We're going to do marathons. We're going to do marathons and test our skills at competitive play. I have a very short presentation and we'll get in lots of gameplay with commentary. Thank you so much. Oh yes, thank you. I'm feeling lots better. Although I don't have the trigger taken care of right now. So I'm trying to get that taken care of, but hopefully if I keep my stress level down, I'll be all right. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And we'll see you again at 4 for competitive play. And otherwise, join us on Friday night for the Simply Social Let's Play live stream beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We just hang out, have a good time, socialize, and do gameplay with commentary on Friday nights. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Otherwise, I'll go ahead and sign off and see you again at 4. All right. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click the little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.